What is going on, everyone? Mutant Cowboy here. Hopefully, you are enjoying the new update for Division 2 Season 11. Obviously, there's some new gear, some new manhunt stuff to do. Not incredibly large in scale, but it's good, I guess, for anything to be new in this game at this point. However, I'd want to start off by saying, look, I did get to level 90. I actually got that yesterday afternoon. Yesterday afternoon, I ended up getting to level 90 on the rewards track, which means that for anyone wondering, yes, the Ninjabike messenger bag is rank 90 on the rewards track. Before that, you got the Sacrum Imperium at 85. But other than that, there's I didn't really even pay attention. As soon as I got into the game, I knew my entire mission was to get this backpack, and that's all I wanted to do. So I ignored the entire manhunt, everything at that point, and just did my normal grinding. Now, what is my normal grinding? It's been the same thing that has been since pretty much we had shade levels. Since Warlords of New York came out, since people discovered grinding those Warhound convoys. I mean, I've pretty much been doing the exact same thing since season started. So, and very simply, that's just doing resource convoys. I do tons of resource convoys, and honestly, you don't even need to do that many. I think maybe to get an entire season filled up. Well, actually, let's just say to get to rank 90. To get to rank 90 on the season, you're going to be probably needing to do about 120, 150 of these. And that's really not that much. Honestly, it will probably take you less than a minute to do one. So really the most time consuming thing to do a resource convoy is just getting there and finishing it like that. I mean, you have to get there, and that probably takes the largest amount of time, and then getting to the next one. Generally, those are the biggest time vampires of the game, or at least of this method. So let's actually just do one. Let's just see one real quick. Okay, let's just go with my build that I was using for them. And if you notice, I am on challenging. And that's obviously for a reason, mostly just because it's quicker. As we'll see, it's a lot quicker to do on challenging. Heroic will give you more experience. It will. But the thing we have to consider is we're after experience as fast as possible. So in my experience, I'm a lot slower at getting experience the higher the difficulty is. So challenging seems to be like the best all around kind of experience to time ratio. Hard is good. You can do hard really, really quickly. If you didn't like your builds, or you just weren't set up for specific things, you could run through it on hard really, really quickly and really, really easily. You generally don't even have to worry about dying, even if you get like some sort of weird random situation that comes up where you get like a named enemy and his crew that jumps out of nowhere while you're trying to take down this convoy, and then a freaking elite convoy comes out the back rooms. I've had that stuff happen on Heroic, and it's a nightmare. Like obviously it's a nightmare when you are trying to do this as fast as possible, take out these things as fast as possible. Actually, alright, there we go. I was on the wrong weapon. There we go. So, literally I wouldn't say that was a optimal one, because I was having the wrong weapon. I like the Lady Death on this build. However, I would much rather have a slow firing weapon. It just makes it easier because you don't run out of ammo and have to reload, and then like, yeah, it just creates it just makes it a little bit easier to run through it with a slow firing weapon for me. If you wanted to do it with a LMG, yeah, the LMG would probably work too. I use a shield just in case, but yeah, I mean, you saw I didn't really need it there. Just wiped them out on challenging, and then literally all you do is you go back, you find them again on the map, and then you know, teleport to them as fast as you can, and that's it. That's all you have to do. Now, another piece of advice that I would say is you want to activate some of your directives. You don't need to activate a whole ton of them, but you definitely want to. I mean, obviously, you know, it all kind of depends. If you're playing on really low difficulty, you probably want to activate as many as you can. If you're playing on the higher difficulty like heroic, you probably want to activate them more selectively. And this is, of course, if you're playing solo. If you're playing in a group, I think, you know, you can, you know, figure out where your group's at and judge from there. But anyway, so I don't know what I'm looking at there. Okay, so obviously, as I already talked about, you know, the difficulty that you put it on, it will increase how much actual experience you get by doing them. So challenging, I think, is a good middle ground. It's really quick, but I don't have to worry about going through one entire magazine on each enemy like I might in heroic. If you're a full DPS build, yeah, it's probably not that big of a deal for you to just take out like a single enemy, but you're also a lot squishier, and the last thing you want to do is spend time, you know, reviving and not getting any experience, right? You don't want to go down and waste time. You want to just grind it out as fast as possible. So challenging, you can kill enemies quicker, and there's less risk of you actually dying. And let's face it, not everyone is a god at the division. Some people are good, some people are great, some people are average, some people are okay. If you are in the normal bracket of players, the okay, average, maybe, you know, moderately good, you can do heroic. Yeah, you can do heroic by yourself all day long. But let's be honest, how many times do you die? The truth is, most people die. Most people go down. And on challenging, you go down a lot less. You die a lot less. On hard, unless you're terrible, you probably don't die really at all. So, if you want to save time, you're going to go with hard and challenging. Okay? And then you're going to activate your directives. Now, for me personally, I hate them. I hate them with a passion. But if I'm trying to max out my experience, I'll put them on. All right, scavenge skills, hate it. Special ammo, hate it. Pistol arrow, actually I kind of like pistol arrow. Fragile armor, I don't mind it because it doesn't really bother me that much. Fog of war, I hate it. I'll tell you why. Because this one gets in the way of your experience. How does it do that? Because you don't know where the enemy's coming out. If you don't know exactly which door the enemies are going to come out of, because let's say you've done this like 50 times, and I've done this, you know, countless times. I've done this every season, and I still don't remember exactly every spot that they're going to spawn from. Sometimes I'm a little bit off. Sometimes they're at a sewer that I didn't think they were going to be. Sometimes they're at a door that makes no sense. Sometimes they came out of some place in the sewer and I have to go track them down. Okay, sometimes it just sucks trying to look for the enemies. And of course, you can put pulse on and kind of take care of some of that. But if you're not a skill build, look, we all know the issues with that. So anyway, Fog of War helps you see the enemy spawning faster. So that means that you can kill them faster and get more experience faster. Fragile armor, again, doesn't really matter that much. It's an easy experience as long as you're not taking too much damage and just put on a shield or something. You're farming, who cares? You're not trying to be impressive. Pistol arrow, again, easy. You know, if you're using a shield, you can use a pistol. And most of your builds, especially like Hunter's Fury, works really well with a pistol. You get up close, you just blast them a few times, especially on low difficulty. It doesn't really matter that much. They go down easy. And as soon as you basically disorient the whole group and, you collect the ammo from killing them with the sidearm. And then if you have the gunner specialization, which is what I was using on this one while I was doing it, gunner specialization really helps when you're chaining these back to back to back. You can get your ammo back. You can get ammo when you use your pistol. It becomes basically a non-issue after the first time. Only time you have to worry about pistol arrow is anytime you teleport to a safe house. The safe houses will immediately delete all of your ammo, and you have to use the pistol again. But if you teleport to like missions, or if you have a few select control points for the teleportation purposes, then you can intercept convoys a lot easier. So that's a little helpful tip if you don't really want to deal with Pistolero that much. Just have a few select control points that you can teleport to without losing your ammo. Scavenge skills, again, if all you're using is the shield, I mean, it takes one to pop out the shield again. It's not really that big of an issue. The enemies are squishy enough that if you're really squishy, the shield will stay up long enough for you to get out of a bad situation. That's all you need. Scavenge skills, again, easy XP gain. Special ammo, if you're fighting the Black Tusk, obviously you're not going to be using skills, so it doesn't really matter that much that they have EMP ammo. A lot of the other ones, I mean, they don't really matter that much. I will be honest, the hyenas annoyed me to no end with their freaking disorient bullets. The bleed from the True Sons really didn't bother me that much, but the fire bullets from the whatever the heck they're, God, why can't I never remember their names? These ones, the Outcast. That's embarrassing. The Outcast, yeah, they have fire bullets. So they can be annoying, but it's not, again, it's low difficulty, low damage to you. It's really easy to take care of, just not an issue. So that allows you to take care of it real quick. Do that, hop to them. And also, I guess I should say, if for some reason, like right now I have plenty of these things going around. The faster you kill them, it seems to be like the faster they come back. There's been like periods of time where like for an hour I just constantly had them to jump to. And I'm not sure how it works with the actual game. If you take out a resource convoy, if that control point still needs a resource convoy so it encourages them to spawn faster, I don't know. But there's been periods of time where like for like an hour I just had resource convoy after resource convoy after resource convoy to jump to. Sometimes I'd be going to a resource convoy and there'd be 2 resource convoys going at the exact same spot, and I'd be able to take out 2 of them with, 1 teleport. It'd be real easy, real nice. And of course, since it's on lower difficulty, that's a lot easier to handle, right? It still moves really quickly. But yeah, if I did not have that, another thing that I would do is I'd go to Tidal Basin and just go over here. Do public executions or the territory controls that are always right in this area. Fairly quick, fairly easy. I like doing those ones because, again, they are fast, right? Avoid propaganda broadcasts. They are going to be terrible. All right. They're just slow. They take like minutes rather than seconds. They're attacking a control point. What? Oh, I haven't seen that in a long time. Anyway, yeah, so the key to this is the resource convoys, because they actually give you double XP. I'm not sure how it works. I'm not sure why it works. I'm not sure if this is a bug, a glitch, working as intended. I don't know. It's been known for a long time that they give you double XP. So right now you can see without any bonuses, if I took this convoy out, it says I'm going to be getting 100,000. When I complete this, I am going to be getting 200,000. If I put on all of my modifiers, I'm going to be getting over 400,000. 400,000 experience per convoy. If I put on all the modifiers for like a public execution, I'm going to be getting 200,000. Again, these are quick and it's easy. So if you don't have any convoys, just do those. But a lot easier, just do the resource convoys. All right, so that takes care of that. As for the actual item itself that we want to look at, the Ninjabike. Yeah, the Ninjabike isn't really great. I mean, look, I talked about this in a video a few weeks ago. Basically, I preemptively said that it's going to be too weak. It doesn't matter how it comes out. If it comes out with 1 core and 2 attributes or whatever, it's going to be too weak. If it comes out with 3 cores and a mod slot, it's still going to be too weak. I already looked up, basically all the math on this. I made a list of all the stuff in the game just so I could kind of pair up everything that was in there, try to pair up all the bonuses and see what kind of, combinations I could get. If you saw that video, I basically covered why it's not going to work so well. And it's that exact same point. Like, everything I said is true. The math is true. There's no real mystery behind this backpack. I'm not going to be able to combine it with much of anything to get a better build than something that I can already have in a different form. What it is going to do, it will potentially allow you to have like different combinations that you couldn't get. So maybe you just needed a little bit more crit on your striker build. Yeah, you might be able to do that. But of course, you're going to lose your backpack talent if you're using the striker backpack. I mean, you're going to lose a lot of backpack talents, and that's the biggest downfall of this backpack. The fact that backpack talents themselves are incredibly strong. So, obviously, perfect clutch. Yeah, no one's really using perfect clutch. I actually use it on one build, but it's not that great. All right, but vigilance is huge. People love vigilance. Perfect shock and awe. If you're going for a status effect build, shock and awe is great. If you're a skill build, tech support is great. If you're a tank build, adrenaline rush is great. So these talents right here are going to be gone. And not only just that, but I mean, against Memento itself, 30% weapon damage, 30% skill efficiency, 3% armor regen at 30 stacks. I mean, that's quite the obstacle to overcome in this game. It's not going to really compete for the best anything with Memento or some of these other ones. What it will do is, again, offer you some bit of difference, some bit of hybridization. So, I mean, you could make some different unique hybrid builds. And I was actually debating on whether I wanted to actually go over these or not. But I will show you guys just what I've been kind of considering, just so you understand that, look, I'm already, wow, that's a nice scope there. Anyway, yeah, so I've made a ninja explosion build. This is pretty much going to be, this isn't peak explosion build. This is kind of a, I would consider this more of a PvP explosion build. I wouldn't necessarily want Brazos on there. If I wanted to make this more, I guess, PVE, I would probably just go more into damage. So I'd probably try to get rid of this one, and I might go with I think it's Hana Yu. But yeah, I'd probably try to go for a little bit less all-in-one, because obviously this gives me some weapon damage. You can see I've got some crit here, and with the SMG, I think I'm almost at like 60%. So this kind of build can work good. I get some good explosion damage, I get more weapon damage, and I have more armor. Is it better than something I could do with the Memento? Probably not, but it's different, and it offers a couple, unique selling points. Like, so for example, I am getting that skill efficiency still. I would get the skill haste. I would get the explosion damage there, which is probably the nicest feature. And I would get the skill tier. So that would allow me to use the demolitionist specialization without having to need the tactician for that extra skill tier. That would also give me that skill tier so I can have more armor on there. It is what it is. It can be more beneficial, but at the same time, it's not really better in the whole area of the game. Maybe in one specific slightly, if you required more armor, then I guess you could probably do it a little bit easier. And if I wanted to have even more armor, I could switch back to the tactician, and that would give me another free slot for my armor roll, which would give me 3 armor cores while still having 6 skill tiers. So it really just depends. So PvP, again, yeah, this is pretty much what I noticed over and over again. The main selling point of the Ninjabike is that it might help more in PvP than it's going to help you in PvE. I think in PvE, this backpack is going to be below average. It's going to be... It's not going to be a great backpack to use. Let's just say it like that in PvE. In PvP, it has more redeeming qualities, such as not losing your talent like you would vigilance. Okay, so instead of losing vigilance every time I get shot, I'm going to have these active brand bonuses or gear set bonuses that aren't going to go away, which can be useful. But is it going to be off the rip, like vigilance powerful? No. Vigilant. If I jump somebody with vigilance, I'm going to be doing way more damage than I am with the Ninjabike. It's just the way it's going to be, and that's usually how it matters. The person who gets the first shots in and can drop the enemy really quick, they're going to win the fight. So, Ninjabike might be good for PvP farmers. So if you're going in the DZ and farming, you might want to use a Ninjabike. But honestly, if you're going in the DZ and farming, you're probably just going to want to have the memento buffs. Another one, I kind of was just playing around with this one because obviously, you can get weapon damage and damage to armor activated. You can get armor regen and armor on kill activated, SMG, crit hit damage, headshot damage, crit chance, and you can get that skill tier again. So you can make kind of I don't want to say like a best in slot kind of build, but a more generalized good for the DZ kind of build. So I do have tier 3 on my jammer here, which of course with the changes does give me the ability to negate tier 6 skill builds. So if I had tier 2 and I was going up against tier 6, I wouldn't be able to do them or stop them. Do them. Anyway, I wouldn't be able to jam them because they would be tier 6. I would be tier 2, and I would only be able to jam up to tier 5. Again, I don't have much in the way of hazard protection on this build, so this skill, the Artificer, might come in handy. Of course, I'm only tier 3, so I'm going to be able to be, I guess, jammed by a tier... I don't really know how it works. A tier 3, or if I'm tier 0, so then I can jam 1, 2, and 3, I think. If I'm 1, I can jam up to 4. If I'm 2, I can jam up to 5. And if I'm 3, I can jam up to 6. Yeah, I guess I'm assuming that's how it works. I haven't tested it out. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. Don't take it as gospel. Another thing you could do, like I talked about before, I'm pretty sure this was the main thing that I actually talked about as being the potential for the Ninjabike in that last video I did, where you want to have hazard protection and pulse resistance. With the Ninjabike, it makes it a lot easier. Of course, I've got 2 Eclipse, and I'll just actually equip it so you can see. So I've got my 2 pieces. With the Ninjabike, it unlocks that 3rd piece, so I get that 30% hazard protection. Then, of course, have 2 Y'all, which, again, gives me the 3rd piece, unlocks 40% pulse resistance. And then I've got my 1 Cheska for that 10% hazard protection, and it also gives me some crit chance. Now I can roll the stats any way I wanted to. If I wanted to go for... really, I'm going to need probably most of this to be hazard protection. I get 30. I get 10 for my shade, which means that I've got 40. So I realistically need 60 more. So I've got 10 here and 10 here, which gives me, I still need 40 more. So I need to have at least 4 10% rolls on my gear. And if I don't have 10%, then I'm going to basically need all 5 pieces to have hazard protection, to be hazard resistant. And then, of course, once I did that, then I'm going to have 3 mod slots. One of them is going to have to be pulse resistance if you have the 10% mod. If you don't, you're going to need 2 to be pulse resistant. Hopefully, you guys have that 10% pulse resistance. If not, honestly, I probably wouldn't even try to really worry about having it. I think that, like 1% pulse resistance is probably not going to be good enough. It's going to be good enough for you to basically just execute whatever you need. I mean, it's going to be very hard for somebody to just really use pulse on you if you're like 99% resistant. And if they're constantly beaming you in the head with Heartbreaker, I mean, you're probably going to lose the fight anyway. It's not that bad. But anyway, I would strongly recommend you getting that 10%. But that only leaves me with, if I have all the hazard protection rolls on there, I'm only going to have 3 additional rolls. and 2 additional mods. Now, that's probably going to be smart to use an SMG at this point because I get that crit chance. That means I can spend a lot more because, I mean, looking at this, yeah, I've got 60%. So that means I can invest everything else into crit damage, which will be good. So if I invested crit damage, what? Okay, I don't know what just happened there. What the heck? Okay, I'm not going to go down to crit damage. If I invested everything I had into crit damage, then I'm going to be probably about 120% crit damage, with 60% crit chance and 100% hazard, 100% pulse resistance. And then you can, of course, you can put whatever talent on your chest piece that you want. Of course, obviously this is going to be designed for PvP, so of course Unbreakable is probably going to be, you know, your number one option. I don't know if you want to use Spotter, but Obliterate would also be a good solid option because that's always active. Obliterate and Unbreakable, good choices. Spotter can work, depending on, you know, it really just depends on your build, but you know, you can get some utility out of this kind of build and make it a little bit stronger than your normal hazard protection build. And you can make it a little bit stronger than your normal pulse resistance build. Of course, the one thing I think people aren't going to, you know, obviously this Ninjabike favors brand sets, and I would say it favors brand sets. Brand sets have the biggest advantage with the Ninjabike. Gear sets, very situational. You're going to, I think, a lot of it is going to be kind of annoying. You know, you're not going to be able to use any improvised, or I mean, you can, but you're not going to get any bonus from using improvised, which I think kind of sucks. Do you want that mod slot? Is that mod slot better? You know, I don't know. If you're trying to go for protection from elites, yeah, you're probably going to want those mod slots. If you're going for pulse resistance, maybe, you know, maybe you want those mod slots. Maybe it's just better for you and your build. You know, it really depends. If you don't want hazard protection, you know, you don't need to go and get it. But yeah, that basically just covers kind of, you know, my thoughts on the Ninjabike right now. I guess there was a few other ideas. Yeah, so the sniper build, that was probably my other one that I'm really kind of, I'm just not seeing it working out so well. Of course, you know, there's other talents and other things in the game that provide you with a better bonus. Some of these 4-piece bonuses for the brand or for the gear sets are really good, and if you're missing out on them, well, I'm afraid that, you know, you're going to be losing a lot of power, especially if you're actually playing to that style. If you're really trying to get those headshots, you know, you can get a lot of power from them. You can, of course, put on a 3rd piece for the 4-piece bonus, but you know, the more pieces of the same brand or same gear set that you put on the Ninjabike, the less returns you're actually going to get, right? So, yes, if I had all 5 different pieces, I'm going to get a total of 10 different bonuses. All right, so with a normal build, if I had 6 pieces of different kinds, I would get 6 bonuses. If I had, let's say, 3 Habsburg and 3 Walker Harris, I'm going to get 6 bonuses. If I had, let's say, 5 brand set pieces and a memento, I'm going to get 5 brand bonuses. All right, but if I have the Ninjabike and I have 5 different pieces on, I'm going to get 10 brand set bonuses. So that's 4 more brand set bonuses than you would normally get. But the question is, can you really get more power out of 4 brand sets, you know, the bonuses, than you would basically any other build? And I don't want to say you can. Yes, you can add in some, you know, 5% damage to armor, but let's say it like this. If I was going for full weapon damage, you know, I was trying to get the peak DPS I could. Am I going to be able to pair up enough second brand set bonuses to make it really worth it? And that's kind of the big question, because, you know, like a lot of them, you're gonna have to be very selective. Like the Walker Harris, yes, weapon damage and damage to armor, that's great. Habsburg, yeah, if I'm using a marksman rifle, headshot damage and marksman rifle damage, excuse me, yeah, that's great, having those two bonuses. But if I'm going for like Uzina, am I going to want armor on kill on a like a tank build? Probably no. I mean, it's not bad, but I would say armor on kill is generally, you want to have a good amount of DPS so you can actually kill enemies quickly. Sokolov, yeah, Sokolov is great because you get SMG damage and critical hit damage. Hannah Yu, skill haste and skill damage, great. But Fenris, are you going to want to use Fenris for the, you know, reload speed, or is it going to feel like you're kind of wasting a little bit? To me, I feel like it would be a little bit of a waste to get the reload speed. Now, it depends on the situation and how you play. You know, Richter Kaiser, are you going to want that explosive resistance? Maybe some people will. I've made a lot of incoming repair builds and I love them, but putting 10% explosive resistance on those builds just because, I mean, it seems random and doesn't really make much sense and doesn't seem like it's going to help me at all. Again, if you don't need hazard protection, putting it on with the Cheska, you know, it's going to seem kind of like a waste. So it's going to kind of really, you know, focus you in on specific pieces. You know, like I said, Walker Harris, it's a double bonus. It's two good bonuses for your build to use. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here. Is it going to really make like contractor's gloves good? I mean, you get LMG damage and weapon handling. If you're not using an LMG, I mean, you're still going to see a lot of waste here. So, you know, it really depends. You're going to have to look through it really carefully, see what you want, and see if it makes sense. Yeah, of course, there's some options that might be a little bit better, some options that might be a little bit worse, but you really need to kind of just figure out where you're going with your build. Some of the brand sets, they have good bonuses. Like, I mean, yeah, Hotshot, you get the 30% marksman rifle and 30% headshot from having two pieces on. That's great. But is it really that good? You know, I mean, these are just the things you're going to have to come up. You're going to have to basically, you know, decide for yourself which pieces work well in combination with a Ninjabike. Not all of them will. Not all of them will provide you, I guess, the optimum damage or the optimum healing or the optimum armor regen that maybe you are hoping them to do. So, yeah, take it with a grain of salt what I'm saying, but overall, the loss of the talent compared to the brand sets bonuses themselves, I don't think it's a beneficial exchange in most builds. I just don't believe that it's going to be as powerful as some other builds are, and I think that's really the key to it being kind of looked down upon, and probably it will be looked down upon in the future. It just won't be as strong as people are excited for it to be. It's not going to be strong enough for a lot of people. It's going to get stashed. It's going to only apply to maybe a handful of builds, if any, and most of those builds will have already been kind of done, right? I mean, a lot of people already have a build that works really well for what they need it to, and trying to make a Ninjabike build do the exact same thing will be a pain in the butt and possibly not even be as good. So I think it'll be a lot of wasted effort, people trying to explore and see what's there. Which, if this was a normal game and this kind of, you know, piece came out and there was a lot of, I guess, unknown, if this was a new game, you know, and there's a lot of unknown, this might see a lot of use and it might be an interesting part of the gear. As of now, there's not many unknowns in the game. I mean, people have a very good understanding of how the stats work. I can understand how things are going to work just based on the math alone. I don't even need to put it together. I already, you know the equations for everything in the game, and I can figure it out. I can math it and tell you what you're going to get. So, for me, I already see the Ninjabike as being kind of, I would say, a B tier item. It might be low A, but it's definitely not high ranking. Okay, it's not going to be best in slot for the vast majority of uses in the game. It's going to be a item that can complement specific playstyles or specific niches to some degree. Um, like I said, mostly in PvP, but outside of that, I don't think it's going to be as good or as impressive as a lot of people are probably hoping it will be. And the worst case scenario, what I see happening is a lot of people on YouTube spamming Ninjabike builds, basically trying to convince their audience that this is going to be a great, fantastic build, the best build in the game, whatever. Um, Very doubtful. Very doubtful. There's, again, I haven't gone over every single combination, but I've gone over enough of them to know that the end result is usually inferior to something else I could make with the pieces I already have. So, yeah. Anyway, that'll do it for me. I'm gonna probably be making a few videos on this bag in the coming week, and of course the other items that have dropped with the season update. So hopefully I'll see you guys in the future. But thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.